everybody, CW here. I got another old rifle to share with you. This is one I've had for a long time. And this one is another one it's special. Because back in the day, my own dear old dad put this one together. Had it put together. My grandfather had come back from World War II with a couple of Mausers, and he had them sporterized. And I guess it kind of stuck in my pop's head. And when he was a little older, another 10 years or so later, he decided to do the same thing. So he ordered, and I have the receipts for this. It was something silly. I should dig it out. I should have dug it out before I started the video, but $38 or something like that he paid for this rifle. Maybe not even that much. Military surplus. Rebarreled. It was in the back of the magazines. You could order them. Rebarreled 3006. So it's a military Mauser action, as you can tell by looking at it. It's got the cutout there for the thumb to seat the clips. Don't know whose barrel it is. It does have some proof marks in it, so it was a proof barrel. But he had it drilled and tapped for these Redfield bases, the old R in there, Redfield and Redfield rings. And what else did he do? He put a Timney trigger in it. So this is a Timney Deluxe trigger because it has the safety in the trigger instead of using the swing safety. He never changed the shroud. This is still the original shroud. I've changed the shrouds on a couple of mine just because they look cleaner, but they don't do anything other than look better. The barrel on this is, I don't even know how long this barrel is. Let's see, I got a yardstick right here. I thought it was 22, but let's see. Yeah, 22 and a half. I don't know where the front of the bolt is. I'd have to put a rod in and measure it, but it's over 22. It's over 22 inches. And it's a fairly slender contour. He had sights put on it. It's got Williams sights, front and back. The scope, of course, doesn't lend itself for use with the sights. He had a old Bushnell scope on here. And I didn't really care for it. I don't mind Bushnell scopes at all, but this was a much older one. So I put a kind of a classy Leopold Very X3, 2.5 to 10 on here. And the rings were nice. They're probably low rings, but there's enough clearance, and everything works really good. It's nice and smooth. He did some file work on the bolt, put flats in it, and had turn down bolt put on too. Now the stock is what's special because it's a Fajan stock, much like what I'm doing on the other 98. But it's a one that he contoured. He spent all kinds of time grinding and cutting and smoothing, and this would have been the early 60s probably. So 20 plus years after Grandpa built his. And it's got a ebony cap and an ebony tip. And he cut the checkering in here when he was learning. So it's not pointed very well. It's just gridded out, and it's not great, but it's what he did. So it's great to me. Very, very 60s California style, Weatherby-ish, with all these, cutouts and swells and wraparounds and the rollover cheek piece. It's not a finely figured stock, but it's a nice stock, and you can see all the marks from his ring. in the stock there how many times he held this. And the story behind it from my grandfather, because my father doesn't remember it the same way. But the story was that after he built this, he took it hunting, and he loaded it up with 180 grain bullets and headed to the woods, and apparently shot a couple, 2-3 times through a couple of deer, and didn't recover them, or recovered them after a long tracking job. And he swore off the 30-06 as not enough gun for deer. Of course, we know it's not true, and he does now too. And of course, we know it was just a bullet failure. There's something under the lug there. Maybe it's just Loctite. And he was going to sell this rifle. He was going to trade it in. He wasn't going to have a gun that didn't do that. So luckily, my grandfather came along and told him, you know, what's going on? What are you doing? And Grandpa gave him the money that he would have got trading this in. And Grandpa kept the rifle. So I didn't get this from my dad. I got this from my grandfather. So it's special for, you know, doubly reasons. And it's a really good shooter. Over the years, my little brother has taken it a few times. I know I took a deer with it in Vermont, but I don't hunt with it a whole lot because 06 is way more than I need for my kind of hunting. You know, that's why I gravitate towards the 57 Max and the 454 and the 350 Legend and those 730 Waters and all these smaller calibers, because we just don't need this kind of horsepower, and they're noisy, and it's more than I need. But it's a 30-06 and it was Dad's, so it's not going anywhere. And I figured it'd be a good one to share with you today, because it's kind of special to me. And we'll get this one out on the range too. It's been a long time. I worked up a load for this long ago, or I took his, I don't remember which. My dad was never a huge reloader. My grandfather was the reloader. My dad did it a little bit, but not a whole lot. He got kind of excited about it when I got excited about it in high school and coming out of high school when we started casting. And that's what got me started in casting. But so let's plan on that. Let's get this to the range with some of the loads that I have, and let's get this on the bench and make up some ladders and see what this can do with some different bullets. If I remember correctly, it was 4350, 55 or 56 grains with a 180 grain bullet. I have no idea what the twist is. We'll check the twist. You know, we'll use our tight fitting patch, brush, whatever. See if we can figure out the twist. It should ought to be 1 in 10, but who knows? Remember, we had 1 in a 10 1/4 in that Magnum that it should have been 1 in a 9, 1 in a 9 1/4. And what they did back in the day, who knows? You know, who knows what this is? So we'll check it out and see. But the other thing is nice. It's not a heavy rifle. This is a pretty light rifle for a 30-06. I don't have a scale down here. Actually, I do. Let me put it on the scale. I have a hanging scale, and I'll come right back. Stand by. Okay, it puts it right at 8 pounds. Now that's a very old, just a pull scale with a spring with lines on it, so it's not calibrated by any means. It's gonna change with age and all that kind of stuff, so it's not really all that accurate. It seems lighter than that to me, but I do have a lot of heavy rifles, so I would have guessed, you know, 7.5-ish, but it comes up right at 8 pounds. These are pretty light scopes for what they are, but they're not super lightweights. The Variax 2s were lighter, but we're not talking major difference. And I did add a level to this, which kind of sticks out a little bit, but it works well. I like levels on all my rifles that might see any kind of range. So there we go. Let's close this one up. Just a pretty Mauser and classic 30-06. And there we go. God bless everybody. I hope you're having a great day. See you later.